Tom. It's very nice to meet you. Would you mind just telling me what the biggest challenges were in the making of the movie?
The biggest challenge when you make a movie musical is you're creating an alternative reality where people communicate through song, but you have to make it utterly convincing. And it's tough because it's not the way we do communicate, but you have to make it as natural as possible. And so I did everything I could to create this alternative reality in a convincing way. And the most important thing was I chose to do the singing live, which makes it much more sort of visceral and real than when you have actors singing along to a pre-recorded playback track and lip syncing and pretending to sing. Because if this world existed where we sung to each other, you'd put a microphone on us if you were making a film about us.
Till you die, it warns you're a dangerous man.
I stole a loaf of bread. My sister's child was close to death. We were starving.
You'll starve again unless you learn the meaning of the law.
Know the meaning of those 19 years.
Because you did the singing live, there were live recordings, how many takes on average did it take for each person?
Oh, it totally depended. I mean, Anne Hathaway, we used the 4th take of Dream to Dream. Eddie Redmayne, I think we used the 21st take of 21. It slightly depended on people's processes. I mean, I remember Eddie, when he sung Empty Chairs, Empty Tables, he pointed out that every time you sing it, you end quite devastated. And he said, would it be great if we could just run it together, so that whenever he ended a song, he then began his new take. So he'd take the devastation of where he got to and made that the new beginning, and would get even more devastated by the end. So he kind of pushed himself further and further down a spiral of devastation to capture that moment of extraordinary grief. Whereas Anne, I think, was sort of so prepared for this moment that I knew it was going to happen quite early. I knew she wouldn't need many takes to get to where she needed to get.
Yes, it's true. There's a child, and the child is my daughter. And her father abandoned us, leaving us flat. Now she lives with an innkeeper man and his wife, and I pay for the child. What's the matter with that?
From inception to end, how long did it take to make the film?
Just about a year and a half. I mean, after the King's Speech finished, I took a couple of months off, and then I first met Hugh Jackman last May, so that's when it all began.
Okay. And is your casting process intuitive, or do you have a particular process that you go through?
With this, it was pretty rigorous. We auditioned everyone, and I mean everyone, like even Russell Crowe auditioned. I mean, I don't know the last time Hugh Jackman and Russell had to audition for a film, but I felt because I wanted to do it live, the actors had to show me that they had the ability to do that. Like, I couldn't take the risk of discovering that someone couldn't actually sing on the set, because I didn't want to have to kind of post-sync them or replace them with someone else. So the auditions are very key, and it was also a way of me learning about how I could make this film and how actors might begin to reinterpret these stage musical songs for the big screen, for the language of the cinematic close-up.
What's the relevance of Victor Hugo's work to today's society?
Well, I think Victor Hugo 150 years ago was furious about the level of unacceptable poverty in the world he saw around him, and in many ways his work was a tirade against injustice. And now we live in a world with tremendous anger about rising economic inequality, and there's revolutions in the Middle East and seismic shifts happening. So oddly, it remains as topical now as it was 150 years ago. But I think ultimately its topicality is emotional. I think there are so many points of emotional connection for audiences. If you're a parent, you're going to very much relate to the story of fatherhood of Jean Valjean. If you're a teenager suffering unrequited love, you're going to relate to On My Own. If you've had any kind of broken dreams in your love life, you're going to connect to Dream to Dream. I mean, there's just so many emotional ways into
I
this
condemn this man to slavery. Pretend I do not feel his agony. This innocent who bears my face, who goes to judgment in my place. Who am I? Can I conceal myself forevermore? Pretend I'm not the man I was before.
Okay, great. Well, thank you.
And must my name until I die be no more than an alibi? Must I love?